Boy, ladies and gentlemen, this is a personal one for us here tonight on Sportswire Radio in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the only platform where all music and wrestling matters. And boy, our guest, who is back here for the first time in 9 months, and boy, has his journey been maybe the most up and down journey of anybody that has come back to Sportswire Radio. And I'm going to tell you about it. I'm going to tell you what he's went through outside the ring and inside the ring to finally capture that Wrestling Zero championship. And one of the things after watching Wrestling Zero last night was a changing of the guard. And it seems to me like right now, there is a changing of the guard when it comes to Wrestling Zero, and our guest is a part of that. We're going to talk about a 2.5-year struggle with this one guy that everybody said is never going to lose, never going to do this, never going to do that, and said yours truly was always meddling into his problems. Well, we'll talk about him. We'll talk about the syndicate. We'll talk about what's next. We'll put the match up here where everybody's talking about one of those match of the years here in the backyard in the underground wrestling circuit. And it was a match that, well, let's just say it was the former champion. Well, it was what he had and what he wanted. We'll get into that. Maybe we'll talk about some other familiar faces here that always get brought up when it comes to the world of Wrestling Zero and Sportswire Radio. And I've even got a surprise for our guest here. No, the syndicate's not coming on here. No, that other guy who you think we're going to talk about is not coming on here, because if you watched after the match, he's gone and didn't say anything, and we know he'll be back eventually, but for now, he hasn't said anything, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that with our guest, and we're going to talk about a journey that gets maybe as real as it's going to be here on Sportswire Radio, which is why I'm excited for this one, because, when I think about 9 months ago, and you were supposed to have been that heir apparent, you were supposed to have been that guy not only here in Wrestling Zero, but throughout the underground and the backyard wrestling circuit. But we may have never thought you would come back to this platform, but guess what? Let's just say second chances happen, and the best is most certainly yet to come. But now it is time. In the famous words of Def Leppard frontman Joe Elliott, let's get rock, baby, because I know our chat is here. I know some familiar faces from Wrestling Zero might be here, but it is now time to introduce our guest here on Sportswire Radio, the number one global radio station where all music and wrestling matters. As your commissioner of Thunder here on Wrestling Zero, this is definitely one that hits home, and we're all very proud of him here, and it is now time to start this show off and give our guest that championship-like introduction that he deserves. And it has been a long journey, and welcome home, my friend. Let's get this show off here in style. So with that, without further ado, here on the Sports Report, number one, global sports show, a man that is now on top as the reigning, defending Wrestling Zero World Heavyweight Champion. His name is simply put, da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Ryan! The champ is here, my friend. How are we doing? And congratulations.
Very good. Thank you for having me. See, funny thing is, the last time you had me on your show, I'm pretty sure I was the tag team champion and national champion.
Yes, you were the tag team and the national champion, and you were, it seemed like we're going to be the heir apparent. You were going to be the heir apparent to a man that will, I'm sure, talk a lot about. And it's been, let's say, an interesting journey, a bumpy road these last 9 months, but it took a lot, and you made it. You finally got to where you were supposed to have ended up. Maybe not the way you would have hoped, but you're here, and we're so happy to have you back here because, as I stated in my intro, I didn't think you were coming back on the Sportswire after your last appearance, your full last appearance on here, but you're here, and so glad to see you and to see you where you are right now, my friend.
Thank you very much.
Well, we have a lot to talk about here, but I'm going to start off here nice and easy. Jay Ryan, because you certainly accomplished what a lot of people didn't think you could do. So I'm going to start here for those that are listening and watching here in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the platform that you and Wrestling Zero most certainly helped build, Sportswire Radio. Talk about Jay Ryan. What does it mean to you now to be the reigning, defending Wrestling Zero World Heavyweight Champion?
That is a loaded question. See, it's a lot more meaning behind it.
Okay.
It's gonna be hard hitting. It's more hard hitting on who I won it against. There was some personal problems a year ago that kind of had me out of the company for a few weeks.
Yeah.
The last thing that said person said was he handed me the title and he said, when you come home, you're coming back for this and you will win this. I believe you. The fact that I come back and win it against said person is what it means. It means a lot because we all know this journey. We all know since day number 101, since Izanagi, I've been coming for that title.
Yep.
First time Matsuda showed up back in season 3.
Yep.
I went after him. I've gone after. I tried to challenge Nate Ryan for it. I've tried to challenge Matsuda tons of times. Yeah. Even Arashi, I was going against for that title. So it's a loaded question.
Yeah, I mean, and especially with what you went through since your last true appearance on the platform, everything that you went through, and I'm going to ask you another loaded question because I think there's going to be plenty of them here tonight. Did you think even, let's say at the beginning of the year, that you would be back and on top as the Wrestling Zero champion? Just go back in time. Go back to the beginning of the year when you were kind of, again, out of the company and in a punchline, really. I mean, if I would have said to you today, August 17th, 2025, Jay Ryan's the Wrestling Zero World Heavyweight Champion, what would you have said?
I would have said you're crazy. I would have said that, maybe if you said I was a YouTube champion or national, yeah, that was still a possibility. There was always still a possibility that in the works that I could come back. I could, make a comeback. But 2 or 3 months after coming back, going through the hell I went through, no, I wouldn't believe you. Maybe if you said in like 3 years' time.
Yeah.
But it's the fact that I gone through hell to come back. I got that, we all saw Matsuda's rampage.
Yep.
We all saw it, and it's like, well,
And
who's
you've
going
been
to stop
beaten
him?
time after time. We talk about the tournament. We talk about on Thunder what happened. Obviously, me being commissioner and, you being decisively defeated. And I mean, so even in recent memory in your return, you went through so much adversity, not just outside the ring, but inside the ring here on Thunder. I obviously, mentioned you and some of my promos, and obviously on Thunder TV, we'll put up the match in a little while between you and Matsuda, where you become the Wrestling Zero champion and also become a Grand Slam winner, which I'll ask you in a minute. But I mean, you really went through a lot, man. You went through, if anybody that comes on here and is a champion, whether it's in the underground, the backyard, the pro, and the indie, whatever you want to call it at this point, I mean, you probably have gone through the most adversity to get to where you are, to be on top in your company. I really think that you have probably went through the most adversity.
Look, that's probably true. Like coming back, the first match back, everyone saw Matsuda. And then I lost, and then obviously tournament. Yet again, it was Matsuda that cost me. So I thought, you know what? If it's going to be the same repeat, might as well come in swinging or not go swinging at all.
Listen, go big or go home, and they say that all the time. And we see you here with this. We see you with the Wrestling Zero Championship, obviously one of the most prestigious championships in our sport. You were a major underdog in this match. You were one of the biggest underdogs. It's almost one of those stories, Daniel Bryan like, or, you're a boxing fan. You think about Buster Douglas knocking out Mike Tyson to win the World Heavyweight Championship famously in Tokyo, Japan back in early 1990. I mean, you're up there in terms of one of those upsets. You think about upsets, Eddie Guerrero wins the WWE Championship and everybody goes back and what a major upset that was. And you're up there. I mean, we can go up and down the list of names. And, Jay, and I should ask you also, you were here last. Absolutely. You were a tag team champion. One half of that, you also held the national championship. But because now what you did earlier this week on Wrestling Zero TV, you are now a Grand Slam champion. And I want to ask you about that. What does it now mean to you to not only be a Grand Slam champion here in Wrestling Zero's history, but to be the second one? What does that mean to you?
It means everything, because let's look at the roster, shall we?
Yep, absolutely.
We've got the boss that obviously is the first Grand Slam champion.
Yep.
But we've got Ace Reed, we've got Tom Hennigan, we've got
Our
Rob Ryan,
another champion, by the way, we're going to talk about in a little while. Absolutely.
Ultimos, we can name all of these lists.
Robbie Ryan, we can go down the guy that was who you defeated. We're going to bring up. Yeah, I mean, there's a very long list of names here in Zero, and yet you're the second one. You're the second Grand Slam winner. I mean, I say it all the time, champ. To be a Grand Slam winner anywhere, I don't care what fed, I don't care who you are, to be a Grand Slam winner in our sport, that means something. I always remember growing up when they talked about Grand Slam winners and then the WWF. At the time, there was only a handful. It was Kevin Nash, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, and then later on, Stone Cold did it, and there was very few Grand Slam winners, and that was when the Grand Slam and being a champion, very few people got it, and you are now in that same league, in that same vein here, and especially in our circuit, and I think it's a major deal.
Yeah, what it means most to me that, like, all respect to Tom Hennigan, but he's not Grand Slam champion, and he started this with Matsuda.
Yes.
Those two were the start. Yeah, he's won 6 titles, but being Grand Slam was also as you know, because I've had to come adversity with being with Matsudo and
You
all of
aligned
that.
with him, you fought against him, you've been out of the company, you've dealt with struggles. And again, it's a big roster here. We've got Alex James, Robbie Ryan. I mean, we've got big names. We have big names here in Zero. We have, Lance Malu here. I mean, we have a lot of different people that have come through and are on our roster here. And yet you're the second one, just the second Grand Slam winner. And I think it speaks to the adversity that you've dealt with to get to where you are today.
That's the thing, the adversity. If you look about a lot of my matches and my history, we've had time and time again, I've had interferences. And that's what's really got into my head. The first time I went for the title, interference. Second time, interference. All these times. But this time I didn't walk out alone. This time I didn't walk into a battle, alone. And that's what's gotten me the most. Grand Slam it's not about how you present to yourself. It's about how you go on. It's about how much you can take and how
And
much.
that's the first thing. Listen, life. It's funny. This came up yesterday. On Sportswire, and it came up. I was doing something in an engagement, and one of the things was life ain't all sunshine and rainbows. Life is gonna hit you, but it's not about how you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and get right back up. That's obviously the famous sayings from Rocky Balboa, and you've dealt with that figuratively and literally. I mean, you're a man that hasn't even had a place to live on not just one occasion, but multiple occasions. A few days ago, we had on Magnum Carter, who's now wants to be the role model of the backyard. He's talked about his young daughter, his struggles he goes through outside the ring. He's dealing with injuries, but he's also working 72 hours a week. And, he's had some mental health issues and other things. And it was a real moment here on Sports. It was a real thing to hear someone talk about his love of this sport and to come in here and try to be somebody. And he talked about positivity, which a lot of times right now we don't really focus on. And you have kind of had the same troubles, but even worse, because you haven't even had a home, not just on one occasion, but multiple occasions. But yet you've gotten back up, you've picked yourself up, and here you are. You're the man right now for Wrestling Zero, and you're one of the top guys right now anywhere in the underground.
See, that's the thing. Adversity, odds. I dealt with that while taking on people like Ace. I dealt with that like taking on people like Hennigan. I dealt with all of that. But it's the fact of question you've always got to ask yourself all the time is it worth dropping yourself? Is it worth going down without a fight? Is it worth, letting this all get to your head?
Yeah.
That's the question I keep asking myself. Because, I'm a big believer of karma.
Me too. I always say that here. Karma will come back to those. Yeah, I agree with you.
And I thought, if I can take this here, what can I accomplish? All right. Here's what I've accomplished. Grand Slam champion, been on Sportswire twice, and currently the Wrestling Zero champion from taking all of those blinds.
No, it's a big comeback. I want to get into Zero quite a bit. But before I do that, I would like people, because I see some people here in and out of the chat. And if you are here and you haven't been here in a while, hit the sub button for Wrestling Zero, because Wrestling Zero is ever so slowly inching up those numbers here with our subs. We're getting closer to some big milestones. We're at 166. I remember when it was yesterday, we were at 40, we were at 48, 50, 100. We're at 166. And let's hit that sub button for Wrestling Zero if you haven't yet. And let's get them there to 175. Let's get them there to 200 because they're working their way up. They're working their way up here. So do me a favor. Please hit that sub button for Wrestling Zero. We are here with the Wrestling Zero champion, Jay Ryan, who certainly went through a lot. And it was in a match in an environment that he didn't have much of a chance, but he pulled through. And we're going to talk about a lot of that here over through the next hour. And thank you so much, everybody here, for tuning in on Sportzwire Radio. Hit the sub button for Wrestling Zero. But yeah, you went through so much. And I have to ask, was there ever a time that you said, you know what? I'll never be the Wrestling Zero champion. I'll never be a Grand Slam winner. Was there ever moments of doubt? I mean, I asked that because, I've had guys come on here who've had big comebacks and major comeback stories and dealt with, long odds. They see Darkron is here and he dealt with cancer and a hand injury and came back. And, Hillbilly Tilly was away from the yard for a long time. I see him here. And, there have been people that have dealt with things, but you have dealt with not having a place to live. And was there ever a time here in these last several months that you thought, you know what? I'll never get on top. I'll never be what I am right now.
On that, the start of the, obviously, as you were talking about earlier, me being released and all that, I actually, no one really knows this, but I ended up in hospital because I got that sick and I started seeing stuff and I started, I wasn't well enough. And I thought, that was kind of the point where I was starting to doubt if I'd ever be able to be well enough to come back, if my head was ever going to be clear to actually step back. I was doubting myself. And even when, the weeks that led up to it, from tournament to, I was doubting myself. I was messaging a messaging friend and I turned around and said, I don't know if I can be Wrestling Zero champion. I don't know if I make it. What am I going to do? Am I going to be good enough to, for people to walk out and go, all right, Jay's actually doing well for himself?
Yeah, it's a big thing. I famously had a wrestler from the UK come on here, and this was about a year and a half ago now. The Tribal Cheese, a very well-renowned wrestler in the UK, major following on social media. And right after a match, Champ, he said, I can't do this anymore. I'm done. He hasn't, he really hasn't been that active since. He had a brief comeback, but really he walked off and said, you know what? I can't do this anymore. And sometimes those are things that happen. Mental health is real. You've talked about your struggles. We know, your struggles have been documented for a very long time. And, we had our guest on, as I stated Wednesday, Magnum Carter, the role model of the backyard. And he dealt with some real issues we spoke about. And obviously now coming back into Wrestling Zero and talking about the man that put you through 2.5 years of this struggle to get to where you are. And that's the man named Yoshi Matsuda, a man that you have never really been able to figure out and how to solve. And you finally got the job done. And after 2.5 years, this tale, it wasn't just more than a match. This was a story. This was just, to me, a changing of the guard. And do you feel like that last night on Wrestling Zero TV, that it was a changing of the guard now that you've finally been able to defeat Yoshimatsu Matsuda and win this Wrestling Zero championship? Do you feel now this is a changing of the guard? And what's your thoughts on that?
It is. Yeah. As everyone knows, I warned him. Once he loses that, everyone's going to see him as the person he is right now. He was like a brother. He genuinely was. And after all of this power went to his head, I got worried. Because, not too long ago, that was me. That was me in that position. The power was getting into my head. I was
You were
running with.
supposed to be the man. You were supposed to be his successor. You were the guy that Yoshi came on here and, said you're the guy that's going to take over for him. And it didn't happen. It just didn't work out that way.
But that's the thing. It was the fact that I jumped the gun. He never said he was handing it off to me. He never said, he said there was going to be a next line. And he said that, like we all know about the successor, but he never really said, hey, I'm handing this off to Jay. He said he was going away for a while, but he never said he was done for good.
Yes, agreed.
So the thing was, I jumped the gun, and I know what it's like to have that power trip. And it wasn't just power trip, it was anger. It was pure rage. I've never seen Matsuda like this, to the point where he was going into the ring and hurting people to the point where we had barely anyone to challenge him.
Yep.
And even he said that after the tournament, he was like, oh, well, who's there to challenge me? All right, well, there is one possible person after. If it's not Tom, there's one possible person. And I was skeptical at first if I could really do it, because but who else was in that position? Ace had the title. He had his own story with Tom.
Right. And you you weren't, after your lack of success and coming up short, as time and time again you did, a lot of us here that are fans of Zero didn't know if you could do this. And and Yoshi's just been, he's got the syndicate, he's beaten you time and time again. And I mean, and the odds of you being here right now tonight as the Wrestling Zero champion, a lot of people would have said almost no chance.
It was the fact that's the thing. I knew you talked about how I couldn't figure Matsuda out.
No, this was 2.5 years, by the way. This is 2.5 years that you've been dealing with this on and off. I mean, I know Ace, we'll bring him up again, I'm sure, but Ace doesn't have the kind of history that you've had with Yoshi. I mean, it's well documented, when Yoshi's been here on Zero TV and when you came here the first time.
And that's the thing. It wasn't until not too long ago I figured out the puzzle. I figured out the pieces, and I took a leap of faith, pretty much.
Really?
Believe it or not, I took a leap of faith. After the tournament, obviously I got eliminated by Matsuda.
Yep.
So that doesn't put me as a number one contender. It wouldn't put me as but I knew that get Matsuda mad enough at someone, get on his nerves, hit the right spots, he will start going after that person. He will start doing it. But that's the thing about two sides of a coin. You get mad, you get hurt, but it also slows him down.
Mind games. I see what you did. You figured by getting in his head. We know Matsuda. We know the 16 years he's had in this sport. We know what he's done, being a champion as many times as he's been, and that there isn't much to get him off his game. And you basically figured out that the way I can beat him is I've got to get him off his game, and I got to get him almost rattled into where he's thinking, he's not even thinking, as a matter of fact, about what he needs to do in the ring. He's so mad that it completely takes him out of his rhythm. And that's what you did.
And that's the thing. You saw me get hit with how many finishes?
Oh my goodness. I mean, we're gonna put that footage up here in a couple of minutes. And I was watching it twice, and I had to go to an engagement, which is why we're a little bit behind here. And I was watching it the second time, and I couldn't believe. I mean, our commentating team on Zero, if I was on commentating, I would have been the same way. I mean, Matsuda almost, he literally almost killed you, and he still couldn't put you away. It was just, I mean, this really should have been over minutes before you found a way. Really, you had no business of getting up time after time after time the way you did, champ.
That's the thing. I heard at that point, at the point of the last part of the match, I heard a voice, and it wasn't like a Rashi, it wasn't Izanagi, it wasn't any of that. I heard a voice up here and goes, "You can't give in. If you give in, he leaves with the title, they gain power, we have nothing." I said, you know what? This is my last shot to actually prove that Jay Ryan can push. I took a leap of faith and took him down. As you can see here, I was wearing gear that was from Revolution last year. That was partly what was part of this game. This was like a chess game. I always quote to myself, never play checkers, play chess.
Everybody says that on here. Some of the very best on our circuit say the same thing, and clever line there. Very clever.
And as you can see, he bring his body armor. But I think it was at this point that Matsuda realized, wait, if I lose in any capacity of I even somehow tap or I get rolled up, that's it. His journey of, he's the biggest in the company, and the fact that he's realized that if he loses here, he doesn't get another title shot.
No. But he had the match and the stipulation that he wanted, but yet you threw him off his game, and we're watching the match here now. And if you are here on Sportswire Radio, do me a favor, go hit that sub button for Wrestling Zero. Please go out there and support them. We are very honored to be here with the Wrestling Zero champion, the one and only Jay Ryan. What a journey it was. He has finally gotten there. He is the second ever Grand Slam champion in Wrestling Zero history. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce. You have voice figuratively and literally with all music and wrestling matters. I'm also your commissioner here for Wrestling Zero's Thunder episode here. You know what? Listen, Matsuda, you can see the anger that he has here in this match. You can see it. I mean, looking at it, even the way he playfully taps you on the head and he's playing with you, but you could see how his mind is and how he's not his usual self in this match. And maybe that was the key. I mean, that's just the way it seems here so far. And that's what you hope to hang in here long enough to find a way in such.
Well, that's the thing. His anger made his judgment clouded. We've obviously seen his anger over the last few months.
Yes, we've seen it here on Sportswire, his most recent appearance on social media, on his Instagram lives, and on Zero TV with his syndicate, the Matsuda Ryu syndicate. I mean, obviously how dominant and how unbelievable they've been. And yeah, he's definitely had his emotions shown out there.
But that's the thing, the syndicate's there, but they haven't been there as long as I have.
No, good point.
When Matsuda first showed up, I was the first one to challenge him. I was his tag team partner last year at Revolution.
Yep.
I was getting to the point where it's like, how do I take this down? How do I, how do I describe it? I'm like a wrecking ball to a brick wall. I've got it.
Almost
I've
like
got
an
to hit it.
AC/DC album, Australia. It's like AC/DC there, where Angus was on the wrecking ball onto the brick wall. I forget it was one of the album. Maybe it was a Flick of the Switch. It was a Fly on the Wall. That's it. It was Fly on the Wall, and then that's kind of what it was in the video. Heat Seeker. There you go for our Australian fans out there. But yeah, that's a good analogy. You were a wrecking ball going on to the brick wall, and that's what you had to be, and that's what you're doing here so far. And I mean, obviously Yoshi's he's upset right now. He's not usually this way in the ring, and and he's almost toying with you and such, and yet you're just, like you said, maybe it's what it is that sometimes if I would have put you and Yoshi Matsuda in the ring 100 times, right? Let's say 100 times you go out there in the ring, right? Let's say Yoshi, he'd probably beat you, let's say 90 times or more. But this is the one time where you put everything on the line. You laid it all out there like a wrecking ball onto a brick wall. You had nothing left on the table. You threw it all out there. And that might have made you the most dangerous here because you had nothing to lose. You knew this was going to be your last shot. And maybe that's what Yoshi didn't see coming here.
That's the thing. I tried to do it. You know, roles were reversed a few months ago.
Yep.
And now I tried to do what he wanted me to do it the honorable way.
Yeah. And even the face-off you guys had prior to this, I mean, it was personal. I mean, there were jabs being thrown at you. There were things that were said. It was, not like an incumbent. An incumbent's usually comfortable in where they are. They don't have to do anything. And he already beat you time and time again. And yet Yoshi was far more on the offensive in that face-off we saw on Zero TV right before this match.
The thing is, he hit me with everything he got. Words and actions. As you can see, the syndicate's getting involved. Here's Rob Ryan and here's Hamada getting involved. They hit me with everything, but as you said, that was the thing.
Yep,
he wasn't expecting for me to come back with the way I was doing things. He wasn't expecting me to come back with my words. He wasn't expecting me to come back with, the heat that I did, because I wasn't. Obviously, you can see I've taken on these guys so many times. I tapped Rob Ryan out.
Yep.
But as much as I can say I've done this, I've done that, done this, this was my hardest challenge.
Oh, 100%. And recently, the times you've come up short against Yoshi, and we see Hamada here right now, our PXW YouTube champion, and he's just toying with you here. I mean, those kendo shots, oh my God, those kendo sticks. I mean, any other man, Jay Ryan, would be dead in our sport. Those are some of the most deadliest shots I've seen ever. And just look at those punches. Those punches, I mean, listen, seriously, it's a miracle that you still stayed in that match, as I stated. As the commentating team was saying, what does it take to keep you down? And there's Robbie Ryan just toying with you. I mean, my goodness, any other man? I don't know how you really had to reach deep, and maybe you had to just become numb to the pain. You're going to laugh at this here. In a week from now, I keep joking with people that, this may be the end of me because I'm getting a tooth implanted. One of the things that people have kind of told me to follow is you become numb to the pain. You'll become numb, and maybe that's what you did here. You became numb to the attack here from the syndicate. You became numb to the kendo sticks, and just that's what you had to do in order to stay in here. Did you become numb to the pain and just to the beatdowns?
I didn't become numb. I felt everything. See, here's the thing. Matsuda wanted to become numb. He wanted to become a person that is all about hatred and all about anger. And he's been saying over the last few weeks, fear. But you hear me every time. Fear is not the way you come back, because fear will get you people realizing that you're not as fearful as you think you are.
Yes.
You can make yourself out to be the most frightening person, but when you frighten so many people, they come back and hit you with everything they got. Like this. Matsuda attacked him a few weeks ago. That's where he messed up.
Here it is. Here's Ace Reed.
See, here's the thing, he attacked Ace, and I said to him, all of these attacks on all these wrestlers is going to come back, and it's going to hit you harder than you think it is.
Karma. And that's what it was. I mean, you weren't alone this time. You weren't alone. And that's got to help. That's got to, maybe you talk some sense And you could see that, you know what? Like you said, all the beatdowns, or even though Ace gets hit here, but it throws Matsuda off his game a bit. It gets him distracted. We never see him distracted in this way. Never.
See, the thing is, I didn't know Ace was coming out. I didn't even call that out. No one was letting me know in the back that, Ace is also my backup. So I don't know whether it was Ace just annoyed or what was it, but I was on the ground when he comes in and I look over and I see Ace, and if you've seen the BWDU episode,
yes,
the 1 year special, me and him went at it, and he lifted my hand in respect. And I am so grateful he comes in and helps me. He's got his own stuff to deal with, BWDU, the world class,
his wars with Stryker in the past, and obviously his own world heavyweight championship here match in Zero, and Ace,
that's the thing. He has the match next is literally the world heavyweight championship, and he's putting his body on the line to stop Matsuda.
Because it was the right thing to do. It was the right thing to do. And even though it might have took him out of what he needed to do to keep his championship, he knew that he had to do this. He had to do this. And that sign of respect, Ace had that respect for you. And it was your time. It was your moment. And the beatdowns, the attacks, it had to stop. It had to come to a halt. And this is where you brought up the line about fear. And this came up on last night's show. We had on Hype Man Dan Lasers and Chris Phoenix. And we were talking about bullies. And in many ways, the syndicate had been bullying you and others. And maybe they were bullying you because of that fear. And no longer was that fear a factor. You couldn't take it anymore. Ace couldn't take it anymore. And that's kind of what Hype Man Dan Lagers and Chris Phoenix were saying about their situation, and that you got to deal with bullies and stand up to them. And you stood up to the bullies in the syndicate for the first time. We've talked about that here. Me in my role as commissioner at Thunder for our Wrestling Zero shows. We've talked a lot about the problem that the syndicate have created here for months. And this is how you deal with bullies. And even though, yes, Matsuda's getting the upper hand from you now, but you're still not down. You're not down and out. And that fear, like you said, that fear.
The thing is, you talk about like here, 1, 2, and then
we thought it was over. We thought it was over. I mean, everybody thought it was over there. How many times? I think 3 times so far we thought this match was over.
You talk about the kendo stick shots. But remember, I've been through 2 Shiga survival matches that he's involved in with kendos. Yep. And I've had to learn how to not numb the pain, but endure the pain. They have to keep hitting me harder and harder to even get a real pain reaction out of me. Because at this point, Izanagi hit me with kendo sticks. Yeah, it hurt like hell the first time. Second time, earlier this year, it hurt. But the third time, I've learned to endure it, not to numb it, but endure it. But this part is what my luckiest break is. You see me down, you see me out, and I'm like, all right, well, I don't know what to do. Because I'm been to a pulp. I've taken a couple of spears, a couple of kicks to the gut.
He gave you time to come up. We talk about this on Sportswire a lot. Veterans usually go right for that cover, and they finish it. But yet Yoshi took his time. He took his time, and it gave you one last gasp to get back up and fight on.
See, the thing is, we talk about Matsuda's background, martial arts background, but like a lot of people don't know. They mention it here.
Yes.
I've got martial arts background. And that's what gave me that part of energy. I was hitting him with a couple of combos, and then I got that curve stomp on him.
Yes.
And then it's just like, well, here I'm back on the ground, got the kendo stick around my neck.
Oh, I literally, when I saw this, I gasped. I'm like, how does Jay Ryan? How enough is enough. Enough is enough already. What does it take to keep a man down? That's what it seemed to be. But
this is what I mean by my luckiest break. I saw Tom, and I'm like,
oh,
Yoshi gets what are we doing?
Should have kept on you, but yet Yoshi's eyes. His eyes turn away from you, and that gives you that break, like you said, that luck.
The thing is, obviously, it wasn't Tom. It wasn't the Tom that he had his eyes on, and we all know that. It's what Tom's holding that his eyes are on.
Yes.
And it was the fact of that's what I've been saying for the few months.
Look out! We see Alex James. It's Alex James. It's Alex James. Oh, Yoshi's now getting his dose of his own medicine here. Look at that clothesline. One of the most deadliest clotheslines in our sport, hands down. And that gives you, like you said, that luck to fight on.
And he Unga's trying to check on everyone, but also
I know, Unga Bunga. We love Unga Bunga here.
Could he how Unga is? He missed a couple of seconds there, so I could have probably gotten the pin there, but I'm not blaming Unga. I actually respect Unga because he's non-biased here. We've seen over the last few weeks that he's taken Mutz to the side, but on this one, he's actually even. He's actually on the same page. He's actually doing rep duties.
About the luck here. Ace coming out right before his big match. I mean, Alex James coming out to help. Look at the Hennigan situation, and that otherwise that hasn't happened for you recently. We go back to the tournament a few months ago. We go back to Thunder recently. These are things that didn't happen for you, but yet they happened here.
See, I talk about Matsuda's anger so much because I know what it's like. You've seen my temper flare up over the past 2.5 years.
Yes, we have.
The thing is, what else better to know about someone else's temper when you've got a temper of your own?
Absolutely.
You know what spots to hit. You know what to do. But here, I didn't. This was the part I hated. Like this, I was genuinely pissed off about this part.
You wanted it fair, right? You didn't want that further interference.
It wasn't just that. It was what Tom was doing.
I know.
Hit him with a kendo stick. Okay, that's fine. Hit him with a chair.
Get back though. To be fair, Yoshi got his own get back.
Yeah, he does, but it's just this is the point. I was yelling. I yelled at them both. I said, "Tom, get out of the ring. Alex, go to the back."
Well, Tom now is getting out because he's been low blowed. So Tom's gonna definitely be going to get some medical help in the back, or definitely maybe take a break.
But that was my yet again lucky break. It wasn't just Ace coming out to help me, but it was Tom. Both of them that have a match the next thing. They both get hurt. So they're walking in not 100%.
But because they knew it was the right thing to do. And that's what you said. The roles have been reversed these last few months. You have been doing things the right way, and you've earned respect for those that may not have seen or respected you in the way that they do now. And that's why we're here talking to you and watching what we're going to see very soon. And that's why you're on top at the moment.
See, that's the thing. Coming back, I knew I had to do the right thing. Coming back, I knew that I needed to do this time around better than I did the last, better than the time I did before, better than when I debuted. Because it's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to keep myself going. It's the right thing to end this match. I thought to myself at this exact moment when I'm taking my gear off, if I'm going to lose this match or if I'm going to win it, it's because I choose to lose or win it. And what I mean by that is I could have kept Hennigan in the ring. I could have kept Alex in the ring. And as you can see, the brutal attack that follows the next second.
Oh my goodness, those headbutts, any other man would be dead right now. Dead. Dead. Dead ops. Yoshi always says dead ops. That was dead ops, Yoshi.
And that's the thing. I knew that he wasn't going to go out without a fight. I knew that I could have had Hennigan keep beating him down.
After what you've been put through, you could have just won it. You could have won it 3-4 minutes ago.
That's the thing. As I was talking about, I've gone through the interferences. I know how much it is to have interferences. I didn't want that. I can't end my match with that. And as you can see, I'm bleeding.
You are.
I'm bleeding from the head, and I just couldn't do what others have done to me in the past. And,
well, I mean, fighting, man. You know what? I mean, you definitely went through. I kind of feel like this match was almost a synopsis of what you've went through these last 9 months. It was, you were up, you were down, you were up, you were down, you were up, you were down. It was really almost a journey of what you've went through, like I said, these last 9 months.
And that's the thing. You're right. But it wasn't just 9 months. It was, my whole career.
True.
I thought I was done 1 minute, and then the next second I'm standing fighting for what I believe in. And then, as you said, up and down, up and down. But if eventually taking enough losses in your history can, well, as we talk about, get you lucky enough to get that one win that you need. And here's where the brutal attacks come from.
Yep.
This is one of the most brutal attacks that I had to deal with. I keep getting up and I'm like, even I'm thinking at this point, why am I getting up?
I was watching it to myself, leaving aside just our roles in zero. And I'm like, what is he doing? Why? I mean, it's more, is it more than just a match? And I just, that's to me what puzzled so many of us watching at home. And I do want to say hello to the lovely Anastasia Rasinia, who has a nice little compliment for me. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. And I hope you are enjoying this as much as I'm enjoying you in my stream right now. But yeah, Yoshi comes back with yet another attack. And I mean, you should be finito. You should just be, I should be talking to Yoshi again. Yoshi's back on Sportswire challenging me over the things we've put him through and the syndicate, and I'm the Oyabon and Dead Ops, and everybody's got a hit list. But yet, no, you somehow found a way. And that's, to me, you talked about fear. You talked about just getting him in a state that you also had luck. And that's what I think really would happen here. And listen, I mean, just look at that. You look at time and time again, the punishment that you're dealing with. Most men, they wouldn't be here right now.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. And then I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing here. I'm sitting there going, did I just kick out from 4 brutal spears?
Yeah.
Like, and then I'm like,
the last
okay.
one you did on the ropes, you were speared into the ropes.
And that's just, it hurt my back, but I'm like, you need to keep fighting, Jay. You need to keep doing this. You need to, like, I kept saying to myself, you need to do this. You need to do this. You need to do this. And like, all right, well, I know what he's going for here because I've taken many of these brutal attacks. Bang.
DDT, yep.
And then yet again, I'm like, well, what's he doing? What's he going to do now? Because, sometimes I can't predict his moveset.
No.
But thankfully, him pushing me out of the ropes and not keeping me in the ring gave me enough time to stand back on my legs and go, all right, what can I do? Now, thankfully, I think I took this one from, not this part.
Well, no, that's coming up, the table shot. You're going to get the table shot. I know what you're referring to, which is a shot we've seen you deal with a couple of different times. And if you are here on Sportzwire Radio, please hit the sub button for Wrestling Zero. I cannot stress enough the importance of supporting Wrestling Zero. We are watching one of the most deadliest wars in underground wrestling history here. It is Jay Ryan versus Yoshi Matsuda in a Syndicate Rules match, which just took place on Wrestling Zero TV in the most recent Revolution episode. We are here with Jay Ryan. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce. Please hit that sub button for Wrestling Zero. And I mean, like I said, one of the most deadliest matches in history, certainly in Wrestling Zero. And you're just, you're giving it all. You're giving it your all out there. And yeah, hit the sub button for Wrestling Zero. And you could have hit a curb stomp, but you didn't. But Yoshi's down. And, this is a Syndicate Rules match. So throw it all out the window.
See, I didn't have it. I tried to hit it. My body was screaming at me. No, like you're barely able to stand. And then I'm like, I need to keep doing this. I need to keep fighting. Like, obviously, as you said, I took that shot on that table so many times that, as you can see, a lot of the stuff that I do is my own things.
Yeah.
So you don't see me pull out a Tom Hennigan move. You don't see me pull out a
move, an Alex James move, an Hamada move, a Lance Malu move. Yeah, you do what you do. A Nate Ryan move, a Robbie Ryan move. Yeah, I
pull one Nate Ryan move.
One. That's why. Yeah, one.
And then I'm like, because I've tried it in the past. I've tried with Matsuda. I tried to use his finishers.
Yeah, I remember that we talked about that here on Sportswire. Yoshi mentioned it here before, for sure.
And I'm like, you know what? The unique thing about Jay is I win with my moves, not his. Not with Tom's, not with any of the other Zero crew, with my moves.
And that's how it's going to always be, I think, in this sport. You got to win by being you. You got to win with your move, not someone else's. And that's what it's come down to. But what a war so far. We're coming up on 28, 29 minutes into this match. We have a little longer to go. What's going through your mind here at this point?
I'm thinking, all right, if you want a showdown, because he's taken his gear off. I know what he's signing up for. And I'm like, okay, I need to put my gear on top. I need to put my actual gear on and take this seriously, because I know this is about to be a hand-to-hand combat type deal.
Yeah.
And as you can see here, I'm trying to keep up. And obviously, I'm slow. I'm slowing down, and that's the thing. I got a few shots off. I blocked a couple of his combat moves, but as we can see here, I'm not as fast as I usually am when it comes to this part.
Well, you've went through a half an hour with Yoshi Matsuda in a Syndicate Rules match. How could anybody be as fast as they normally are? I don't care who you are. You've just went half an hour with the man right now who's on the top of the circuit, the top of the food chain. Listen, no one's going to be as fast as they know. I don't care. James Taylor was here. Torrance Banks was here. Robbie Ryan. I don't care who you are. You ain't going to be going the way you normally do or go because of just what this man is and what he's put you through.
But the thing is, what everyone forgets about Matsuda, and I told him this, is he's mortal. He's not some immortal Kami. He's not some guy that is what was it he used a few weeks ago? Emperor.
Yeah.
He's mortal. And everyone has a mortal weakness. Everyone. I should know that. The
You
best.
should know. You went through. Yeah, you know that better than anybody. You've went through more than men would go through in a lifetime. That's what you went through.
And it's just
what you've done here. I thought this match was over. I thought for sure there is no way that Jay Ryan is kicking up. I thought Yoshi would be here tonight, dead ops and blah, 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 and the usual. I mean, nobody thought you. I mean, it was almost pity on you at this point, you know?
even the commentators are like, "Oh, thank you,
Yes.
Jay," clapping for me. But the thing is, this is the part that even shocks me. I get up and I'm like, okay, well, let's hit him with one more thing. Bang.
POD! POD! POD!
One,
two,
two, three.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Did I just see what I just saw there? And Jay Ryan has finally done it. He has finally done the unthinkable in one of the biggest upsets. Jay Ryan, I can't believe what I just saw. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Jay Ryan has won the Wrestling Zero Championship in a Syndicate Rules match. He has finally, after 2.5 years, has defeated Yoshimatsu Matsuda. And he's beaten him in his own match. It's a changing of the guard. And he's done it. Jay Ryan has done it and has become the second Grand Slam winner in Wrestling Zero history. Touch them all, Jay Ryan. You've done it. Yes, yes, yes.
Shock, reality didn't hit until I heard the three. Reality didn't hit until that title was in my hands. I was so shocked that I actually pulled it off, that you don't see it, but I nearly cried, because that journey, that 2.5-year journey hit me hard. That reality of Unger just handing me the title didn't seem real until I felt the title in my hands.
Yeah, I mean, really, and I see Christian Backyard Wrestling. I mean, you keep spamming me with Xavier Thorne, and this is not the show to do that. So thank you very much, but there's the door. I mean, unbelievable what you've done here. I mean, this is just the magnitude. Daniel Bryan comes to mind. Bret the Hitman Hart comes to mind. He wins the championship the first time. I mean, just truly unbelievable what you've done. And you could see the respect. Alex James, Tom Hennigan. I mean, just unbelievable. And Tom Hennigan to come out right before his own match with a lot on the line here, and just congratulations, just unbelievable match, unbelievable. And and just you can see the emotions here, the emotions of the stalwarts here of Wrestling Zero, and you could see, this is a personal one between Hennigan and Matsuda. Bye-bye.
It is, and that's the thing. Like, whatever Hennigan and Matsu want to do down the line, that's them. Now, the way I looked at this is also, many people have forgotten a small detail about Hennigan helping me. Hennigan, about close to 2 years ago, turned around and said he owed me a favor. I come in and actually help him out in one of his matches against Matsuda, and he said after that, later on in that, promo, that he owes me a favor. A lot of people seem to forget that, that thing. So, as far as I can see it, Tom's repaid his favor. I'm not going to have to ask Tom for anything else.
Yeah.
And as you see at the end, you'll see in the end of the episode, we're talking about brand split.
Yes.
Tom going to his own and me going to mine, and whatever,
was something that we'll talk about. And I do want to say, yes, everything's okay. It's all good. We love you. I got it on my Instagram page, and I got it before, so I got the point, and I am very happy that you are going to continue to be involved and see, RWL, and we wish Xavier Thorne the best. And yeah, that's all good. Thank you. And anything I could do, just message me off the air. But yeah, I mean, just really, Hennigan and Matsuda, who really knows? But Matsuda now is gone. He's gone now for the foreseeable future. He can't challenge for your championship, and he didn't even talk to the syndicate. So, I mean, what do you think is next? What do you think happens going forward?
Now, I've got two answers on that behalf.
All right, I want to hear it.
I've got one for me and one for Matsuda.
All right, let's go for it. Well, I put the Instagram page up. Go ahead.
I'm going to start with Matsuda.
Okay.
Many people do not know this, but I tried to call Matsuda after that.
No, after what you've went through? Why would you do that?
After the hell I went through, I still feel like he's a family. He's family. I just think he let everything that he's been through.
You have really changed.
I gave him a call because I couldn't see him backstage. He's walked off. I saw in the back area, in the monitors, he's walked off. He's not saying anything. And I said, you know what? I need to give him his respect. I need to give him his honor. He did what he did. He hit me with low blows. He, hit me with everything he had. But the fact is, the man is dealing with anger. He's dealing with grief. He's dealing with all of that. Maybe he's not all to blame on this. And I said, you know what? He needs to know that when he comes home, because I believe, he says that he's going away, he's not coming back. But I believe when he comes home, I'm going to be standing there welcoming him with open arms. And
Why
I know
would you do that, though, after what you went through, what he's done to you, and especially, I just don't understand that logic.
Here's the thing, Mr. Bryce. You said it. We've said it multiple times during the, while we're watching mine and his match. It's the right thing to do. It is the right thing to do.
Man, it's just literally, it may be the right thing to do, but it may not be the smartest thing to do. I've said it on Wrestling Zero TV. We've said it here. Matsuda's come on here and said it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you might be thinking with your heart, but you should be thinking with your head.
See, with that, I always think with my head during matches. But with that match, I was thinking with heart. And I know with Matsuda, he was thinking with his heart. Because that's what ultimately led to anger. But he is dealing with so much that a lot of people don't usually deal with. And I understand that. I understand from a standpoint of view why he's gotten so angry, why he did what he did. Because I, as I said, went through the same thing 8 months ago. Yeah. Did the same thing that he was doing. I was on that power trip. I was on that anger,
He's been on top. He's been here, and what he's done to Wrestling Zero, he's put this company through, and what the syndicate have done. I mean, I almost think it's apples and oranges.
That's the thing. I had my own crew. I was outnumbering Tom. I was doing the same thing. The parallel paths, yin and yang, that type of stuff. We have seen Matsuda when he came back, when I was doing what I was doing. But we also, at the same time, flipped the role. A couple months ago, I came back when he was doing what he was doing.
Yes, yeah.
The thing is, knowing it, looking at from a standpoint of view, looking at it like, not like, oh, okay, he's messed up the whole entire Zero, he's taking out everyone, because that's what everyone else is going to see when they come back. Oh, he did this, he did that, he did this, right. He did that. What I'm going to see is he ultimately did it because he's gone over grief, he's gone over anger. He's done what he's done because he's letting his heart get too much and clouded.
But he's been the incumbent before. He's been on top. You look. I think a lot of people have seen what you've done. I think it's a different situation. We'll obviously have to see, but what do you think about the future of the rest of the syndicate? Hamada and Robbie Ryan's here. Like, what do you think happens with them? They've been so loyal to Matsuda. What do you think happens there?
Those two, I have no clue. Those two, they can do their whatever they want. Like, I don't know what's going to happen with
Robbie
this
Ryan
brand.
saying, look, that you might be champion, but you don't have respect for the Ryan name. He's got a long memory, and he's with Yoshi still. He's become a better wrestler, and you know, he's on his side still, and you know, and he's talking about the fact that, like, look, he's not going anywhere, and you know, and Darkron, by the way, the Underground OG said he loves underdog stories. You are that. Hillbilly Tilly wants to say congrats on being a Grand Slam champion. It's a major accomplishment, like I said. Hello to Pro Wrestling Foot Stomp, by the way, a very impressive Pro Wrestling Foot Stomp. So a lot of people are here, you know, and they're going along with this journey. But yeah, I mean, the Syndicate, they're not going anywhere. You're going to have to deal with the Syndicate. You know, you brought up Ace Reed. Ace Reed, we know, lost his championship to Tom Hennigan. We know, obviously, you're on one side, Tom's on the other. I mean, you saw what Ace did. We know the mutual respect you and him have had. Do you want another crack at Ace Reed? Do you want to give him a shot at your title? Or what do you think between you and Ace Reed now?
Here's the thing. That was the other story that you asked me what's the future of Zero.
Yes. That what is the future of Wrestling Zero? You know, and we have a lot, there. So what do you think?
My plan is,
what?
If I can finally beat Matsuda, if I can overcome the one that trained me, the one that has ultimately put me through the ringer, maybe I go back down memory lane. Maybe these next few months are me going back down memory lane. Don't get me wrong. When I show up, I'm going to be putting open challenges as much as I can. You know, I'm going to be putting myself through hell because I want to test myself on how much better I've gotten over the year, whether it's going against people like Richman or even, you know, Nate Ryan or Rob Ryan or anyone.
Alex James, Hamada, talked about the Syndicate. I mean, there's a lot of names you could pull out of a hat through open challenges.
But the one thing is, I would love for me and Ace to go at it one more time, because you saw both of the matches we put ourselves through. We put ourselves through hell. You know, the backyard wrestling match, final showdown, the one-on-one match at, you know, and I was honored. I was honored that Ace wanted to have me on the 1 year anniversary of BWDU. That was
a company that I've talked about for a long time on this platform. A long time. I mean, Ace is a guy that garners a lot of respect. He garners a lot of respect worldwide.
But that's the thing. He could have had Matsuda. He could have had Tom Hennigan. You know, we could go. You know, we could go with anyone from BWDU too. Let's not forget about them. You know, Striker.
I've heard you mentioned him about you, and he faced him instead of what he wanted to have with you. We know the history there with Ace and Striker. And Striker, I mean, Striker's a guy that everybody universally talks about and respects, for sure.
See, like, people like him, and I'm not. This is not saying anything. Don't take it the wrong way, anyone. But me, and I would love a match against Striker. I watched his match against Striker. I would love, like, I watched him and Matsuda. I watched that match, and I would be like, well, you know, if I can step in the ring with Ace, why can't I be?
You should be that way, because you're the man now. You're on top in Zero. You're the world. You're one of the world champions. You should be wanting a match with Striker. You should be wanting that. If you didn't want that, you said it earlier in the show tonight. You're the champion. You're the guy. So ultimately, this is all going to be things that you should be wanting now. You want to step up to the plate? Well, you're going to be up at plate now. You're going to be up there, and you're going to now get the chance to go up there at bat. And you should want a match with Stryker. You're on top now. I mean,
See,
now it's time to transition.
here's the thing, though, about that. I know my limitations. Now, here's my thing. Here's my mindset right now. I don't want to verse Striker until I know that I can even beat Ace.
Because
Because
we know Stryker's track record against Ace.
yes, so if people like Ace and Matsu,
If you can beat
it's
them, then you're ready. You don't just want to go up there because sometimes there's that pitfall of, hey, I just want to go face somebody, but I'm not ready. I've seen this on this platform all too often. Guys will come on here from backyard or underground wrestling and go, I want to face this person. I'm the greatest. And then they're not ready for that. And I think what you're doing is saying, like, listen, look, I want to have these open challenges. I want to face guys here in Zero. I want to go test my skills against them. If I can hang on and be a fighting champion, if I can get through Ace Reed, then yeah, I think that I should go up there and clash with Stryker. And I think that that would be an opportunity that a lot of people would be really excited to see. And if you are here on Sportswire Radio, we're here for about another 20 or so minutes with the one and only Jay Ryan. He's the brand new Wrestling Zero champion. Please follow him on Instagram. Please follow Wrestling Zero on YouTube. You can do that here by staying up to date and get your fix on Wrestling Zero. Wrestling Zero is definitely one of the premier companies around, and there is no question that it is about passionate work from multiple people. This is the story of Wrestling Zero, and the story of Jay Ryan is far from written. It's far from done, and I can assure you here that this is one of the premier companies we are a sponsor of. I am the commissioner of Thunder. I want to shout out Dubby as well. Please support Doobie and all the great things that it does. Of course, our drink, our main sponsor here in Wrestling Zero. We are here for a little while longer with Jay Ryan, who I still have something for you here in a few minutes I want to give you. And it's not Matsuda. It's not the Syndicate. I still do have something that I want to give to you. But, I touched upon it. You touched upon it very briefly. What about the boss? What do you think is the future there with that? We've talked so much about who you could be facing and what you could be doing. What's the future of the Zero? But where's the boss?
the boss, as I said, nowhere to be seen. He's if people like me and the Syndicate can't talk to him, who has the who can get to him? That's the question. Here's the thing, Mr. Bryce. Here's a question for you. I know you asked me a lot of questions. Who would be in your Australian backyard Mount Rushmore?
I would say Stryker, right? Stryker would be out the Ace Shack.
Yep.
I would say Yoshi, right? You got to put Yoshi, and then maybe I'm going Tom Hennigan or Ace, maybe.
See, here's the thing. Other than Ashak, Matsuda's beaten
those names.
Yeah. So I don't know what's next for him, even if he comes back. I don't know, because he's gotten the highest. He can't come after me because I'm holding the title that he can't touch. What's he can't touch? As far as I'm concerned, after he comes back, I'm untouchable.
Because you beaten him.
The thing is, Matsu, I know he's got it in his heart that he knows he's gonna come back, do the right thing. I believe that. A lot of people.
So after what we've seen these last several months, you sure?
Mr. Bryce, if someone like me can get a second chance after what I did and what I pulled, and the start of the year, why can't someone like Matsuda get a second chance? Why can't someone?
He hasn't really shown anything that would make you believe that these last few months.
Right there is exactly my point. He didn't show anything, but he hasn't had a chance to show anything.
He's been on top, though. He hasn't needed to. I mean, listen, sure, I understand your point. Well, you fall off the mountain. Where do you go from here? The hero is falling off his sword. But what he's done to so many, I don't know. I mean, that's a question when he returns. But we know that he can't challenge you. He can't challenge for that Wrestling Zero championship again. So really, you and him right now are it's a moot point. It's a moot point.
Here's the thing. I would to be honest, I would love. I have tons of challenges lined up.
You just went through almost everybody that we could, and he even wanted to walk away with the championship. He wanted to walk away. He wanted to walk away if he'd be. So really, to me, this is it's a non-starter at the moment that Yoshi could come back and be redeemable. He wanted to walk away with the championship, and what he put you through just in that match alone. I mean, you certainly are thinking with your heart. That's for sure. I'll give you that.
But here's the thing: I would love for me and Matsuda to go one on one more time, not as enemies.
It can't happen.
Yeah, but I mean, down the line, I'm not, I'm not delusional.
We don't know what the future is. That could be we have no idea right now. You got to focus on staying on top, and you just fought through so much to get back to where you were intended to be 9 months ago. You finally got here, and you're going to have your work cut out for. I want to be honest, as the commissioner of Thunder, you're going to have your work cut out for you here just with this roster we got at Zero. The syndicate's far from done with you. You talked about Ace. There's other guys out there that will want a shot with you.
The thing is, the work's not cut out for me. The work is, everyone's like, oh, your story's done. You did it. Work's not cut out. Work is just starting. As you said, there could be people like Ace coming after me.
To the hunted now. It's the most difficult thing. You have to make that transition. You haven't been there. Now you're going to find out. You're going to find out what it's like.
It's even more difficult now because we there's one more piece of information we're all forgetting. Who has the contract?
I know.
So I'm severely glad that he didn't pull what he could have. I thought I saw a glimmer in Unga's eyes to go, here you go, hit me with an Unga slam or something. 1, 2, 3. Jay's just lost the opportunity. I took a sigh of release. Not gonna lie, when I walked out that back, I was just, take a second. But the thing is, I would love a match with Matsuda. I would love a match with Ace. I would love a match with.
Oh, well, you said Striker. I mean, I would love to see that one day. But I think you were realistic and like, look, I got to get there first, which I think is a good point. But there's a lot of people you're going to want to face. There's a lot of people that you're going to want to face for sure.
See, those 3 people alone, plus Tom Hennigan, those 4.
Yep.
How I'm looking at this right now is, yes, I bet Matsuda. But I've still got to work my ways. I've got a long ways to work up to be able to, go against those 4 at their best.
Yep.
Tom Hennigan's at the top of his game. He's got his own title, and he's beaten me a couple of times at the tournaments and, last year.
Yep.
Ace has beaten me twice. Matsuda's beaten me multiple times at his best. And Striker, Striker's, Striker.
You talked about who's the Mount Rushmore in Australian wrestling, and I said I named 3 of the 4 names, and I added A-Shock, and you have obviously struggled against all of those 3 names, and that's why your work is cut out for you, and I think that's why we're very excited about the future of Wrestling Zero. I think if you are here, there's your photo. Please follow Wrestling Zero on Instagram. Please follow Wrestling Zero on YouTube. And, you do say that hard work pays off. And I've got something for you because you do talk about hard work paying off. And you certainly went through a lot to get to where you are. And I'm going to give you something here, which you didn't have to go through what you went through here to get that Wrestling Zero championship, thankfully. And I'm glad that you didn't have to go through what you went through with Yoshi. But I'm about to do this here because for those that are listening and watching here on Sportswire Radio in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the platform that you and certainly Wrestling Zero have helped build, hard work pays off because you are the newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame champ. Congratulations.
Thank you. You kind of caught me off guard.
Well, you know what? Magnum Carter was the same way, so don't cry on me on the platform, but Congratulations.
Here's the thing. I'm gonna this is pretty big. I'm gonna say something, and I hope everyone that's Australian backyard, everyone's backyard is listening.
Go for it.
I've been through hell. I've been through thick and thin. I've been through everything, but doesn't mean you can give up. Doesn't mean if you're a tag team wrestler, doesn't mean you can give up on your dreams of being a single champion. We've seen tons of people, go through adversity, and this is obviously one of the times we can actually say that. So don't give up, keep fighting, and eventually, like in the last 24 hours, I won a title, and now we're here. So don't give up on your dreams. Keep fighting, keep going, and do everything you can.
Hard work pays off, and a rising tide will always lift all boats. And there's no question that you were maybe one of the least likely or maybe most not expected or unexpected members of the Hall of Fame. You would have asked anybody this 3 months ago, certainly at the beginning of the year, but you know what? You deserve this. You've went through a lot. You've went through a lot in the last 24 hours, and that's to me what the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame is all about. And yes, we have Savio Vega in it. Yes, we have King's X, Pitbull, Gary Wolf. We have some of the big bands that have been on here, the million-plus selling artists. But you deserve to be here in the Hall of Fame alongside those names because your story is in some ways is as important or maybe even more important. And I think that that's why you are as deserving as any Hall of Famer here. And congratulations. And I'll make sure that physical copy goes to you when you're off the air. So you got the Wrestling Zero Championship. Now you got the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame on top of it. So congratulations. Yes, Zilla, certainly he deserves it. He deserves to be here. It has been a long 9 months for Jay Ryan, but you're back. We're happy to have you, and we're all proud of you. And you're going to do a great job as champion. I have no doubt. I think this time you're ready, where it was 8 or 9 months ago when Matsuda originally wanted you to be his next in line. I don't know if you were ready. Now you're ready. And I think sometimes that happens, that you need to be ready. You got it. You're here. Congratulations, and the best is yet to come. Jay Ryan is, ladies and gentlemen, the newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. And I think that's the way it's going to be. And we'll give you that copy off the air as we stated. So we've spoke a lot tonight. We have ran the gauntlet here. You have certainly delivered here and some. I think this is going to be a preview of what's to come for you as our Wrestling Zero champion. But before we get to closing thoughts, is there anything else you want to talk about or anything else you want to mention here before we get ready to sign off here?
All right. There's two things, actually. First of all, yeah, you say about, by the way, thank you so much. You say about being in, you got Zelly Vega and all of them in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
But that is what's made this so special. Being in the same Hall of Fame, like a legend like Zeldy Vega.
Wrestled Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania. I mean, that's, Pitbull Gary Wolf. He was a tag team champion in ECW, and he's in the Hall of Fame. I mean, it's not just a Hall of Fame for backyard wrestlers. Those guys wanted to be in the Hall of Fame. It's, that's what it is here on sports. But we have these bands that have sold millions of albums. They played in Woodstock. If you're a fan of rock and roll, that was like the greatest concert of all time. They're in our Hall of Fame. Grand Funk Railroad and King's X. They played at Woodstock 1 and 2. And you're alongside them, and you deserve to be in there as much as they deserve to be here. That's my opinion.
That's the thing, and it hits me hard. I'm not going to stop the grinding. I'm not going to stop the fight. I'm not going to stop the, all of this. So if this message gets out and somehow down the line, I go against the people I want to go against, don't expect me to just lay down. Don't expect me to just take hits and lay down for you. I'm going to do what I did with Matsuda. I'm going to do with what I did with Matsuda, with life and with everything. So you want an opportunity, come get it, because I am not standing down. Once this is done, once you see me next time, I'm going to be standing in the middle of that ring. And I'm going to put myself out there, and I'm going to show everyone, show the world that I'm a guy that's come as much adversity as me, can take the fight to anyone and all comers. No matter how big you are, I will still fight until I can't no more.
And I think that that's what the story has been so good here tonight and the last few days on Sportswire. Wednesday, the role model of the backyard, Magnum Carter, is here talking about his struggles, his journey, fighting for his daughter, fighting for his own survival in his life. Last night, Hype Man Dan Lagers and Chris Phoenix fighting to stand up to bullies. And now Jay Ryan, a man who has fought through so much adversity, who was released from Wrestling Zero, a man that didn't even have a home, who was in hospice and dealt with so many things. We never thought we'd see him ever again anywhere. And yet he is here now as our reigning defending Wrestling Zero champion. And this story is truly one where hard work pays off. And this is what dreams are made of. And this you need to follow. I'm so excited my mic went out. This is why you need to follow Wrestling Zero on YouTube. Hit Wrestling Zero coverage ahead. Plenty of coverage ahead. Please support Wrestling Zero, not just because I'm one of the commissioners, but because Jay Ryan is going to do us all proud and be one of those men that continues to help Wrestling Zero grow to the bigger, and better heights that it will be led to. Thanks to Jay Ryan. What an amazing comeback here on Sportswire Radio. And I know you're going to be here a lot more frequently now that you're on top. We're not going to wait 9 months until appearances. And I can't wait to see what you do here in the future. And please support Wrestling Zero on all of our platforms. We are very excited to see what happens. A lot of storylines. We talked about the boss, maybe you and Ace. We'll see what Hennigan does, Syndicate does. And Jay, I want to pass the baton to you. I want to give you some closing thoughts. Anything else you want to plug, share, or say? The floor is yours, and take it away.
So, I hope you don't mind. I'm supposed to have a drink after this, but do you mind if I pop one open?
You're the champion. Listen, you're the champ. Listen, the celebratory drink, and oh, ho, ho, ho! He's celebrating like there's no tomorrow. That's what champions do. They celebrate winning the richest prize in our sport, that Wrestling Zero Championship. This is what Jay Ryan's going to do. He's done it. Yes.
So I'm going to, obviously, I've got 2 of these. I'm going to have a drink. Oh, clearly after this, so this was supposed to be after the interview when all of that. But since you just gave me what you did, I'm feeling, extra special. This today is a celebration. Today is a path to show that Jay Ryan can be the best. I'm moving in a couple of days. I'm going to have my own place. But here's the thing. Everyone, I want to spread hope to everyone. Everyone can do this. You can do this. You can go through adversity. If I can go through sleeping in a tent and being homeless and doing all that, you can too. Today's the celebrations. Tomorrow's the fight, which means today I'm going to sit back, have a few drinks, do that. But tomorrow I will be on your, probably not tomorrow, literally, but I will be on your screen, giving everyone hope, giving everyone a way to show everyone I can do this. I can take the fight to everyone. So please do not give up on your dreams. Do not give up on anything you want to do, because if I can't give up on my dreams, if I can keep going, keep fighting, then you can too.
I agree completely, and this is definitely one of the greatest comeback stories. Hard work pays off. A rising tide will always lift all boats. And ladies and gentlemen, there is that picture of Jay Ryan one more time as the Wrestling Zero champion. And that's also why he's the newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. Maybe one of the least likely, or maybe the most least likely Hall of Famer, but he's the most deserving. And he's deserving to be alongside the likes of Savio Vega and King Zex and Pitbull Gary Wolf and Grand Funk Railroad and so many other of the big boys. Because Jay Ryan's story, the adversity he's went through, going through what he went through to be here, that's how it's going to be. And that's how it will be, because Jay Ryan is the newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, and he is the brand new reigning, defending Wrestling Zero champion. You can see him in action here coming up on Wrestling Zero's YouTube channel. You can follow him also on Instagram. You can also check out Wrestling Zero on Instagram. And my friend, congratulations. Go celebrate and party like you've never partied before. Congratulations on that new apartment, that new place to live. I think you're going to be going to live in the penthouses because you are on top. Now that you've got the richest prize around, you won't have to worry about being homeless. You won't have to worry about being intense. You are going to be living in the penthouse. You have certainly gone from the outhouse to the penthouse, my friend. You don't have to worry about a thing anymore, and I can't wait to see you back on here much more often. And my friend, go enjoy that rest of that drink. Pop a bottle or two on us. And we'll see you soon. See you soon on Wrestling Zero TV. And congratulations, my friend. You've done us all proud.
Thank you so much.
All right. That is the reigning, defending Wrestling Zero champion, Jay Ryan, who successfully finally overcame 2.5 years worth of adversity by defeating Yoshimatsu Matsuda to win that Wrestling Zero championship. He's also the newest member of the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce. You have voice figuratively and literally where all music and wrestling matters. We'll be back here 6 o'clock Eastern time now today with Riley Bates. Riley Bates is here, so you'll want to tune into that. Plus, we'll have a special guest coming on later on in the evening as well. But until then, hit the sub button for us. Thank you so much, everybody, for your support. Please support Wrestling Zero. And until then, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. On the number one global radio agenda, the Sportswire Radio, where all music and wrestling matters. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great